Welcome to the 5G Podcast.
We're glad you're here.
We hope you enjoy our conversations about God, guns, games, goals, and gastronomy.
Now sit back, relax, and enjoy this week's episode.
Get the timer. Thanks. Good luck. Have fun.
Go.
Go. What is it? Good half.
Good half.
Good
Yeah.
half. Good.
Good. Good game. Good.
What language are we speaking?
Gamer.
Gamer talk.
Can you imagine if in the future people are like, and these words were the words of peace and loving?
Good luck. Have fun. It'll be like inscribed like the ancient like cave drawings. GLHF.
Yeah, it'll be pretty funny.
GG. When in fact it was not. GG.
Although our games yesterday?
Yeah.
No,
2 days ago.
Tuesday. Or
Yeah,
Thursday. We're pretty good.
They're pretty
Except
good.
that last one with the auto sniper.
That was abysmal. That map was trash. I think if it had been
the map was kind of trash.
if it had been flipped, if we were defending first, I think that would have been better. We would have had a stronger lead.
Yeah, I definitely think that the defenders have the advantage on that map. No questions asked.
You spawn at the spot that you need to defend.
Yeah, you just jump down and then you're there.
You're there. You got this long hallway, so you're just like, all right, we get our snipers.
And then the other guys have those two stupid doors. Like the only
They have two bad entrances in.
yeah.
That's it.
Anyway,
Yeah.
Now that we've started off talking about CS2,
That was our icebreaker.
yeah. Very good, very good. Did we just want to keep going on CS2?
Yeah, might as well.
Okay. Well, I've forgotten what the points were on that one because I had the other stuff in the. Oh, sorry.
Get with it. This is an organized program.
This is an organized program with a very strict schedule.
That's
and
right.
We talk for 15 minutes about each topic, and that's it.
It's our producers here. He's telling us to speed it up. Come on.
Mm-hmm.
Give the people what they want to hear.
Give the people what they want to hear. Anyway, I was on TikTok this morning.
Oh, no.
Oh yeah, it's abysmal. Well, during my morning revelries,
Naturally.
as one does, and doing the whole scrolling and whatever, and I came across a TikTok of this pretty famous Counter-Strike streamer
Okay.
reacting to a leaked new knife for CS2.
Okay.
And so it's not. So they have like all the different styles of knives, right? They have like the flip knives, the stiletto, the huntsman, the
what are they
push
called?
daggers,
Push daggers. Yeah.
which are most commonly referred to as the butt plugs of the game.
Oh, yeah. That makes sense actually.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. But we're getting two new knives at some point
Spoiled.
soon.
Do we know it's official?
Well, one of them is official.
Okay.
Well, they're both official. One of them has like they were able to like scrape the code and found like how it's actually going to look in game
Oh, okay.
with all the colors. They couldn't find the other one apparently, or at least I didn't see what the other one. So one of them is a kukri, which is kind of cool,
That is pretty cool.
and the other one is a double-bladed knife. They're kind of weird. It's kind of weird looking,
Oh, okay.
but it's kind of cool.
Not like a dagger. You mean literally like the Darth Maul knife?
No. Like it's a one handle with a blade and then a blade, and they're single edged blades, but they just have like a line. It's like one blade. It's like a dagger, but just like with a cut in the middle.
That is kind of weird.
It's a little bit strange looking.
Yeah.
I don't know if I love it.
I feel like I probably drew that in the 4th grade. I'm just like, this is a cool idea.
Yeah, it's definitely like
Not practical.
no. It'll be interesting, but I'm glad that they are finally starting to release new content with CS2.
Because they haven't yet.
No,
right?
they released nothing.
Not even new maps, new guns.
Well, in fact, most of the maps that you used to be able to play on CSGO are not there anymore.
Right now, at least.
I mean,
I'm assuming they're just working on balancing things.
I don't know. I also saw something that came out that says the XM shotgun, which is the Benelli style shotgun, the semi-auto or auto one, whatever. is way broken in the game right now.
Well, I did get killed a couple times the other day by it. And I was like, the shotgun? Really? At that distance? What?
Yeah, for real. I was very surprised.
And it, like,
everyone knows the Nova is OP.
It's it'd be a little bit better maybe if it wasn't the classic like video game shotguns are so different than real life shotguns.
Oh yeah.
Video game shotguns, for whatever reason, whoever made the first video game shotgun was like, it only works like 5 feet in front of you.
Yeah.
When in reality, like, people hunt with shotguns. Like,
yeah,
they're pretty long range weapons.
Yeah, with the right low, yeah, for sure.
But so I'm curious what they say. It's actually bugged that it's broken.
It's not a bug. They balanced it without killing anyone.
Oh, okay.
Or balanced it.
Because I definitely seem to notice it was killing me at much further than a video game shotgun should.
Yeah, 100%. So it's interesting.
I'm going to have to try that. I think I literally took all the shotguns out of my loadout. I was like, these are dumb. I'm never going to use these.
I kept the Nova.
Because
it's the best gun in the game.
Pump action shotgun.
It's the best gun in the game.
Yeah, okay. The
best gun.
Speaking of leaks, is a random funny thing. I know you probably don't follow World of Warcraft at all, and I barely do, but Asmongold is one of the biggest streamers.
I do know who that is.
Probably, yeah. I think he's still playing World of Warcraft. More like a joke at this point, honestly, but his clips and stuff come up in my feed sometimes, and there was a leak from supposedly the next World of Warcraft expansion, and BlizzCon is coming up next week, which is Blizzard's big thing every year. That's usually where they give away all their big news.
Yeah.
But it's like a leak came out of like, they just showed like 4 screenshots from like the new continent that's going to be in the new expansion, which is hilarious because they've been adding new continents to this world for 15 years at this point. You're like, how many unexplored continents are there on this planet? Kind of weird. Well, you see, one of them was on the back of a turtle. So it was moving. That totally explained that. I'm like, okay. Anyway, so it's just like, another new continent. The 4 screenshots of just like generic places from that continent. And he said a pretty funny comment. He's like, you know why I think this is real? Because it looks extremely underwhelming. Like, ooh, got him, Blizzard. If this was like a fake, like somebody made a leak just to like generate buzz, they would have made it look cooler.
Yeah, for sure.
It's just like, look at this generic grasslands place, but now the grass is yellow
instead of green.
Yeah, you're like, oh, okay. Ooh.
The golden fields of
insert fantasy name generator here.
Yeah, for real.
It's like Warcraft has gone so far off the deep rails. People are just like, it was a cool game for my childhood, but
that's rough because you played it for a while.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then when Classic rolled around, World of Warcraft Classic came out a few years ago, was them literally just going back to the roots. They just re-released the old game, vanilla, they called it, the original World of Warcraft expansion, with fresh servers for people to play on. It was an awesome community. There's a lot of nostalgia. And so they're working their way through Classic, and they're actually on the 3rd expansion of Classic right now, whereas it's like 2 different timelines. It's a little confusing. The actual, they call it retail World of Warcraft, is on like expansion 8 or 9 or whatever. But it was like, they're in the 3rd Classic expansion, but once you get to the 4th one, a lot of people say that's where like modern World of Warcraft started. And so people are like, that's not Classic anymore. It's a whole thing.
Interesting.
It's been fun. I played Classic. I played retail throughout like its actual history. It's okay, but at this point,
isn't it like really expensive to play?
No, it's $15 a month.
That's an expensive game.
It's expensive.
I mean, when most games you pay, let's say $70 for a AAA game, that's 5 months of World of Warcraft.
Does a AAA game last you 5 months? That's the theory of
people are still playing COD.
Game. They are still playing COD. That's true. It is certainly, it's the premise behind the live service game is that it's your community. That's what you're always you're always getting updates and new content and all that for free. Also, you get to play on the Classic servers just for having the subscription if you want. So you get 2 games. And they actually just came out with Hardcore like a month and a half ago, which is kind of funny to read stories online. They have another new fresh server that's just, again, vanilla, just the 1st expansion but it's permadeath. So if you die, your character is dead. You have to restart.
I've always thought those games were kind of cool.
It's fun reading the stories, but it sounds extremely stressful.
I'm sure.
Because it's like you put hours, days of game time into your character to get to max level. Like it's a full world. It's a full game.
Yeah.
And then if you just like die to lag or something.
Oh, that would be frustrating.
Yeah. I think the biggest killer was just fall damage. People like jumping off cliffs. Like, I think I can make that.
And then not making it.
And then not. There's a funny mod that people added on to the game where you can see like anytime somebody dies in the world, you can see it pop up. You can put filters on of like, okay, I only want to see deaths above level 20. I don't need a bunch of level 5 people dying.
And fall damage.
Yeah, and then the other part of that mod is you can see their last message, the last thing they typed. It's really funny to see some of those online. Just the classic like, hold my beer, like famous last words, like, I bet I can make that jump. That sort of thing. There's one that's like, the last message was a warrior who's commonly the tank in all of the group encounters. He's like, we don't need to wait for the healer for this poll. And then he died.
That's funny.
Should have waited for the healer.
Because you always need the healer.
Yeah.
That's pretty funny.
So it's been fun to follow the jokes, the memes of Warcraft, but I'm not really in it anymore.
Yeah. Which is yeah.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see what happens with
Blizzard.
All these companies that are. I mean, I feel like all the companies are making poor choices.
Yeah, especially ones that you like grew up with, or at least I grew up with.
Yeah.
There's like Blizzard was known for their great storytelling, and now they're just like. Eh.
I wonder if the people are just. I wonder if it's just that they're getting bad at storytelling, which is a possibility.
It's a possibility.
Or if it's more of just people are burnt out with all of the stories that we're getting fed every day.
That could be.
Because, I mean, you have all of these different gaming companies that are trying to capture the attention of, millions of people.
Mm-hmm.
And if they can do it, they make money. But if they can't, they don't, obviously.
Yep.
And so they are trying to put out these super fantastic stories with these super amazing graphics and blah, blah, blah. And then all of them are trying to do this all the time. And they're trying to time the releases so that it's in between this game company releasing their big game and this game company releasing their big game. And it's like, how about we just like take a year off?
But then there's like financial pressures as well. Like, oh, you got to get it in this quarter or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
The CFO is making decisions.
Well, and like CS2 is a reasonable example of this because most people, including myself, are saying this game was not ready at release.
Yeah.
And they had plenty of time, but they said this summer, and it was September. When it came, which is like barely summer.
Yeah.
But it was like one of those things where it's like, okay, you can like tease that you're releasing it, and you can like show clips and whatnot and say like, oh, look, we're upgrading the smokes or the fire grenades or whatever, right? And then if you just say like, and it'll be out within the year. It's like, don't give yourself like, it'll be out 2023
because it is important. You do need to let fans know,
and you can like tease like, I don't know. I just feel like they rushed it out.
It is strange. I've got a couple thoughts on that topic actually. You just brought them to my mind this week. I was thinking of it's a random thing. Ark. We played Ark Survival Evolved a couple times. It's a cool dinosaur survival game. It's pretty fun. They randomly like stealth dropped a new game this week.
The company?
The company, yeah. Oh. That's like Ark Survival Enhanced or something. It's just I think right now it's just the first map, the island that you start on, in the Unreal Engine 5.
Oh,
so
cool.
They just like remade the game. It's Ark Enhanced, remastered, whatever. They slapped another $45 price tag on it. But they claim that like, oh, this will be the new game. We're going to add all of the old maps, old content to this for that same price. You don't have to rebuy the DLC. And it's in early access again, so they're testing it out. Like, here's Unreal Engine 5. But they still let people play the old game at least. So that's kind of interesting with the Counter-Strike 2 of like, you guys kind of released an unfinished game, but you didn't let us just go back and play CS:GO, you just updated.
You updated CS:GO into CS2.
Which, is it a new game? Yeah.
I mean, it is, because the engine is new. Like, you
Yeah.
had to re-download the game.
Exactly. But it is just weird that if it's a new game, but I can't play the old game, does that mean it's an update? Like, if any normal game, like Remnant 2, if they update it, I can't feasibly just go play the old update.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's a little weird. A big controversy was Blizzard. Again, it's not a hate on Blizzard episode, but Overwatch was a big controversy.
Yeah, Overwatch 2.
Overwatch 2, they just updated Overwatch 1.
Oh.
And so you can't play Overwatch 1 anymore. And so when Overwatch 2 released, I mean, most game releases have tons of bugs, stability issues, server crashes, that sort of thing. And people couldn't just go play Overwatch 1 while they waited. They were just out a game. And most people, from what I heard, are not even a fan of Overwatch 2 to begin with.
Yeah, that's what I heard as well, that Overwatch 2 kind of sucked.
Yeah. And then they kind of shot themselves in the foot, because even people who liked Overwatch 1 can't play it anymore. That's it. You're done.
Yeah. At least CS2 is not broken.
No.
For the casual player, it's extremely playable.
It's
still.
more or less the same game.
Yep. There are some new. The maps look different and better.
Yeah, they do.
I will say they knocked the maps out of the park.
Everything looks great. It looks like a modern game.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You can see your feet now, which is something that you couldn't
forgot about
before.
that. Yeah,
apparently
can't see your feet. There you go.
But there's just, I will say, in Valve's favor, out of all of the game releases that have been happening recently, this is probably one of the better ones.
Yeah, no, it could definitely be worse.
Could have been way worse.
Mm-hmm.
But
the only little bit of negative PR is just, like you said, kind of the pro scene. But the average,
and like the high level stuff, and there's some other things that are just inherent with the new game, where like everyone had their MMR reset.
Yeah, that's right.
And so I'd hop in a lobby, and I told you this, like, we were in a lobby with a guy.
Yeah, a guy that was insanely good.
Well, and his loadout was like thousands of dollars worth of skins, and I was just like, I have 17-cent skins that I got for free.
I have nothing.
Yo no tengo nada.
No.
Yeah, so it's like, okay,
that's a little weird.
Yeah, but I mean, it does make sense as well. So
yeah, the other bit that you could argue maybe they did it better, if you're gonna have a disastrous release. I saw this week, since for whatever reason, I guess not for whatever reason, I do like statistics, but Payday 3 we've talked about previously, that was a pretty bad release. But they didn't update Payday 2. Payday 2, you can still go play on Steam, and it has held the title for like one of the best co-op shooters on Steam for years.
For sure.
And the numbers of players on Payday 2 is higher than Payday 3, actually. There was an initial bump right at the start of Payday 3. And again, it's also on Game Pass, so I think you can't track all those numbers on the Xbox Game Pass. But Payday 2 is already well and above Payday 3 again. I think people are just flocking back to that because that's a better co-op shooter. It's more fun than Payday 3. A lot of people were not a fan of like the kind of dark tones. They got rid of the jokes, the laughing with your pals, robbing banks. Now it's all serious.
That's dumb. Yeah, we talked about that a couple episodes ago, I suppose.
Yeah.
But I wish companies, like, again, credit to Valve, when they released CS2, it's still Counter-Strike.
It's still Counter-Strike.
It's 100% Counter-Strike.
Yeah,
still.
You didn't have to change mechanics like they did in Payday. They changed a lot.
Exactly. They turned Payday, which is a stealth heist game, into a
Call of
Duty-esque shooter.
Yeah.
Which Call of Duty is its own genre of game, and it does it very well. But if you have we've talked about this ad nauseum previously, where they should have released Payday Battlefields or whatever we called it, or
Battlegrounds something.
We had a really really good name for it, though.
We did. We'll have to go and review that.
Yeah, I still think the CEO of that company should reach out.
Starbreeze Studios, I believe.
They should reach out to us and hire us as consultants.
Yeah.
Or just watch our podcast and find the name and then release that
go.
as a game or whatever.
Give us a little kickback.
Yeah,
Copyright the name.
yeah, for real. But anyway, I think, yeah, I'm convinced that these game companies are just trying to figure out how to make money,
Yeah.
and they just are not. I think Valve is probably the best one at it.
They're consistent, at least.
Well, and CS2 release day, they made $60 million.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
They make so much money from cases and the microtransactions.
Microtransactions, yep.
Well, and it's not even, I don't even feel like they're like predatory microtransactions.
No, it's not like Candy Crush levels of like,
No.
if you want to play another game, you gotta spend $4 on energy.
Yeah. Or like even like I feel like some other games are like really not predatory maybe, but like pay to win almost, you know?
Diablo Immortal. That was technically a mobile game, and that's a whole other topic. That's where microtransactions started. So.
Yeah. But I mean, the way Valve does it is very good because it does breed a community of like trading skins and things like that.
Yeah.
And they just take a very tiny percentage off the top.
Mm-hmm.
But because of the volume, it makes them and you have to buy the keys to open cases from them.
Yes, they have that at a set price. That's like,
but that's just like one price.
Yeah.
And you know,
other than that, it's a little gamble to see what you get, or you can just trade. You can just trade with people.
Yeah, or just buy for real cash.
They have a healthy community,
and they don't set the price on anything except for the keys to open
keys
cases
that they sell. Yeah,
mm-hmm. Yep, that's it.
That's pretty neat.
I mean, the rest is purely economic driven.
Yeah,
purely market driven, which is why there are some skins that are 2 cents and some skins that are $2 million.
Uh-huh. You can say it's like, well, is it worth more than the 2-cent skin? Like, actually, not technically, but it looks cooler.
Well, and what is value really? Value is what someone is willing to pay for.
What someone's willing to pay for it, yep.
So it is that valuable.
Because if it's got a cool dragon on the barrel of the gun or whatever.
And and people get really into the weeds on like the lowest float is what it's called, which is the quality, right? So however many zeros you have in front of the number is like the better the quality and whatnot.
Gotcha.
And there's different patterns for skins. So like you'll have like one type of skin, but the
snake wraps clockwise around the barrel.
Well, no, not those skins, but like for like the case hardened skins or like the pattern based skins, not the like the graphic based skins.
Yeah, okay.
The pattern based skins, what they do is in order to make the guns all look differently or all look different, they have like a picture basically of the randomly generated pattern.
Yeah, and then
they just copy, like they just like
or maybe they
throw
tessellate.
or whatever these guns, and so you can get out of, I think most of them are just like 700 different options or something like that.
That's impressive. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, and so some of those patterns are worth more because and most of the knives have patterns. Some of the AKs have patterns.
Mm-hmm.
There are some patterns that make little designs on the back of the pistols.
Oh,
like there's one.
What you're looking at.
There's one that's a little mustache man. It's pretty cool. It's pretty little.
So that one's worth more.
Well, it's actually cheap though.
Oh,
it's like $1.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah, like the other skins that aren't the mustache man are like 7 cents.
Yeah,
but the mustache man is like $1, I think. And then there's one that looks like the female reproductive organ.
Oh well, naturally,
which is a very expensive skin.
Because gamers.
Because gamers.
Yeah.
There's also a knife skin that has the male genitalia on it.
Accidentally, right?
Yes, completely. It's just the way the skin like works on that specific knife.
Yeah, and that's what the community knows it as now. So that's 100%.
Gamers.
If you're making money, what's Valve gonna do? Not release the skin with the dick on it?
Well, and they're already out, right? It doesn't like they can't do anything about it.
And besides just removing it from everyone's Steam inventory. But no, yeah, exactly. They're not going to do it.
No. So anyway,
if I had one complaint about Valve, since we talked about stories, their story writing has just stopped. It's been non-existent for their other games. I'm talking about Half-Life. We've been waiting for more Half-Life content for a decade.
Well,
yeah.
They're just raking in the money on CS.
No, yeah, I can't blame them.
And on Steam in general.
I think you got a point about like stories. Maybe it's just because thinking about Bethesda, I grew up with Bethesda games, Bethesda stories, Fallout. We talked about the Fallout cards in Magic last week. That's big nostalgia for me. I'll probably end up getting them. but not for Wizards Coast, just to support Fallout. But playing Starfield, which is Bethesda, I cannot get into the story of that game at all. It's just eh.
Yeah, I think most people, and this is coming from a relatively noob gamer,
Mhm.
right? I didn't play any video games growing up or anything like that.
Yeah.
I think most people, most gamers who have nostalgia about games claim it's because of the storyline.
Sure. Okay.
But in reality, I think it's because the mechanics of the game mixed with a halfway decent storyline. It's a compelling it's a compelling story,
Sure.
but not like over the top amazing, right?
Yeah.
It's not like a literary work of genius, right?
Mhm.
It's compelling though.
Good.
The newness of the gameplay and the immersion that gameplay allowed you to have is the actual nostalgic part.
That's fair. Okay.
Because there's like, think about like everyone can remember going and playing like Call of Duty Zombies with their friends.
Yeah, that's fair.
The storyline of Call of Duty Zombies is abysmal. It's the stupidest storyline ever.
I forgot there was a story.
Nazis in Germany created this random teleportation device, portal thing, and released a plague.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah,
that's like a Reddit post of a story.
That's some fan fiction.
But everyone loves COD Zombies.
What if Nazi zombies? Like, okay.
Yeah, exactly. It's like we couldn't just have Nazis or zombies. Like,
yeah,
we had. Okay,
but the mechanics.
But I think the game was
community.
Exactly. I think that and like games like Skyrim, for example, completely captured the zeitgeist of the population.
Totally.
And everyone was talking. Maybe not everyone was talking about it, but everyone was playing it at least a little bit.
That's true.
It was like a relatively new type of game in terms of like how you would play. It was, it was kind of one of the first open world games. I mean, Oblivion was obviously first, but that wasn't as popular as Skyrim.
Yeah.
And, it came out on the Xbox 360, which was like a really good gaming console at the time.
Family console, basically. It was really popular.
So, I mean, you had all these different contributing factors. And I think now with like Starfield, where everyone is a gamer who... people who bought Starfield are buying it because they know Bethesda makes Skyrim.
Yeah.
Right?
True.
And Fallout, right? These games that they played when they were really young or younger. And have fond memories about, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now they're, 10 years older.
And you're like, yeah.
And then you're kind of like, I mean, this is kind of just Skyrim in space, but like there's nothing.
There's nothing to do.
Yeah.
And the world building is,
that's kind of, I don't think the storyline is as important as people think.
No. Okay.
So I think that's probably the problem with most games is that people focus on the storyline too much, or the game creators focus on the storyline too much and not on what is making this game unique. Because there are many games with great stories.
Yeah.
Very compelling stories. But is the gameplay just the gameplay?
Yeah, obviously, it's like if I wanted just a story, I'd go read a book or like
watch a TV show, watch a movie.
Yeah, I need gameplay that's interactive enough while having a compelling story. I think because it's like to semi counter you come home from work, you play video games for escapism. I think most people. It's probably a discussion for another day. There's probably two types of gamers. One where you want to shut your brain off, and one where you want to be like, engaged because you don't get enough engagement throughout your day. But for the most part, you want to be.
That's both. Those are both forms of escapism.
I think so. Yeah. You want to be immersed. You want to escape, and you do need a good story to do that for the most part, unless you're just grinding, just playing a JRPG and just killing 1,000 red slimes because they give experience. Whatever. But for instance, I was thinking about Baldur's Gate 3. Fantastic story overall, and the characters are well written, and the gameplay it's okay. I mean, I probably enjoy it more because I like D&D, but as far as that style of game goes, what do they call them? Like a tactical RPG. They call them a CRPG, but I don't know what the C stands for. I don't remember. But it's just like an isometric. Could be
Chance-based RPG.
Because it's all dice rolls behind the scenes. I've played other games of that genre before, and it's like in terms of gameplay, Baldur's Gate 3 doesn't really do anything new. It's cool, it's fun, but it's not like amazing. And so it's like for that one, I really think they knocked it out of the park with the engaging storytelling, the immersion, and then the gameplay is just engaging enough where you want to invest in the story.
Yeah, so I think you and I are probably.
So I was like, I don't think that was a counterpoint. But
No, I don't think it was a counterpoint necessarily, because there are definitely so you have this Venn diagram, right?
Mhm.
And you have stories in one circle and gameplay in another circle,
Yeah.
right? The best games are going to be in that center section, that crossover
Totally.
section, right? Where super fantastic gameplay and compelling story intersect. And then inside of that oval shape or whatever, that oblong shape,
Mhm.
you're gonna have if that's now a graph, you're gonna have games that are going further onto the gameplay side of that
and
compelling
further on the
story, or further onto the story side of that compelling or compared to gameplay,
Yeah.
right? And Baldur's Gate obviously would be more on that story side,
Mhm.
whereas something like CS would
Is
be. In fact,
all
CS is
gameplay,
probably
yeah.
not even. CS doesn't have any story.
Yeah,
behind
that's
it.
a little different when you get into like, I guess, multiplayer, competitive. There's other reasons people play those games.
Yeah,
Other than just the immersion.
yeah. So I suppose I should amend my my theory,
Mm-hmm.
my statement to single player games.
Sure,
right?
sure.
Although no, because some co-op games like Remnant have compelling story behind
Totally,
them,
yeah.
as well as good gameplay.
Yeah, and again, it's like enough of a story. Maybe this is our theory. Just thinking of this right now. Maybe that's either one or the other. You got to have like either your gameplay is so good
that it counteract. Yeah.
that you just you want to keep playing because it's fun, and then the story is like it's enough, but it's really the gameplay that's keeping you going. Or your story is so amazing, and the gameplay's got to be enough just to like keep you engaged and want to see more of the story. If you're lacking in one of those, if you're like, wow, this is a really fun game, but the story sucks, it's not as fun, or vice versa.
So additive wise, when you add the storytelling and the gameplay together, you need to get to 100%.
100%
to make a great game.
If you had A+ in both categories,
yeah,
amazing. But
maybe we should, when we open a website, we should have a game ranking area where we rank games based off of multiplicity of factors, and then people can agree or disagree.
Again, I think that's the most important thing for a consumer is like, you come home from work, you got a couple hours, you want to be engaged somehow, whether it's story and or gameplay. So that seems to be the most important to me.
Yeah, it's a good point.
For non-competitive, I mean, people play League of Legends or Counter-Strike because it's like the competitive aspect.
Yeah, no one plays League of Legends for a story.
It has world building, but it doesn't really have a story per se.
Yeah, although I will say the League of Legends TV show
Arcane was really good.
It was super good
because the world building is solid. So I think they just hired some writers and just like, hey, write a story in our world.
Yeah,
and they did really good.
And I was expecting it to be a lot more
campy.
I don't even like. I thought like when we like went to go see like a fight, we would see them in like 3 lanes.
Oh sure,
right?
Yeah. Like the isometric.
I thought we were gonna watch them like into like 3 corridors. And
I gotta wait for the minions.
Exactly. I thought this was gonna be super dumb, but no, it was like a super solid.
It was like a real action.
It actually made me almost consider switching over from Smite to
League of Legends. Yeah.
Just because the story was extremely that was a very well written show.
Yeah, it was. I agree.
That's probably another American anime.
Yeah, you could say that.
That was
definitely.
When does Invincible 2 come out?
November.
I'm excited for that. Still got to get Ryan to watch that.
It's cool.
Speaking of anime, Death Note, still freaking fantastic.
Still amazing.
It's so good.
That's cool.
Anyway, speaking of what were we gonna? Oh, speaking of Baldur's Gate,
Baldur's Gate.
you finished the game.
I beat the game. We can talk about this. Preface everything for everyone, all the concerned viewers. No spoilers. There will be no spoilers because I hate the internet. The internet spoils too many things about this game. And as I mentioned previously, the story is what makes this game so good.
Sure.
The gameplay is fun. And again, if you play normal Dungeons and Dragons, like on a table, you'll probably like playing video game Dungeons and Dragons. It is fun.
Reasonable.
This game is so story driven. The characters just bring the game to life. They're all amazing. I find myself, like, even when I'm replaying other playthroughs, I don't even skip through the dialogue of like your main companions because it's all motion captured. It's all so emotive. Like, game looks fantastic because it's all about the character, the stories. So all of that, I'm not going to spoil anything because like YouTube and Reddit are just like, did you know in Act 3 of the game and blah 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 spoilers, and you're like, why would you do that to me, you terrible person?
Yeah.
Anyway, beat the game, and I was just checking out a couple things. I haven't actually. There's good ending and bad ending, and then technically you can beat the game in Act 2 is like speed ending. It's probably also a bad ending technically.
You just nuke the world or something.
Yeah, and you get the credits to roll. So like, all right, did I beat the game? But at the actual end of the game, it's good and bad. My wife and I had our co-op playthrough. We did the bad ending, and then I haven't beat the good ending yet, but my wife has on her solo games. She told me a little bit about it. And then I was just looking at the statistics, at least on Steam. I don't have the console statistics, but only 14% of people have beat the game out of everyone. And last I checked, I think only 42% have actually made it to Act 2. So
Jeez.
It's still pretty low numbers. So I found that interesting. 14% of people beat the game. Only 4% of people picked the bad ending.
4% of those 14? Or
Just 4% total. So
10% pick good ending, 4% pick bad ending.
exactly, yeah. And again, no spoilers, but like, even though I talked up Larian Studios, who made Baldur's Gate 3, oh, it's a great story. The bad ending was a little lackluster.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's such a huge game. I don't really blame them, but you can see like little chinks in the armor by Act 3. By the end of the game, it's like there's a couple little things where like, They put a lot of effort into the content for Act 1, understandably so. That's what most people are going to see.
Yeah.
But yeah, the bad ending was pretty bad. It's literally like you beat the final boss and then credits roll. Like, there's like no falling action. It's not spoilers at all, but it's literally like at the end you beat the final boss. It's, do you destroy the big bad evil or do you control the big bad evil? Right? Good ending, bad ending. And throughout the whole time we were playing evil, and it made sense based on our party members and our characters. We were like, we want to control the big bad evil. This will be awesome. I was role playing a wizard, a young dwarf wizard, and he just wanted power. And he's like, yeah, of course I'm going to control the big bad evil. This is the coolest thing I've ever done. Like, and then it's just like, that's the end of the game. I was like, oh, okay.
You never get to like control the big bad evil and just become like a god in the game.
No, yeah, it's like I wanted a little bit of falling action with your companions, or like what happened to the world,
or like giving you the ability to like.
I just had to assume, I guess.
Yeah.
Choose your own adventure novel. It leaves it open ended. Whereas the good ending, which is why I'm bringing this up, I recommend everybody just pick the good ending. Even if you think you're an evil character, just destroy the big bad evil and get the good ending, because then you at least get falling action to your evilness. Probably, I'm assuming. You pick the good ending and it's like you actually get falling action for all of your characters, all the relationships that you made up to the point, the world at large. Like, there's much better conclusions and it's a lot more fulfilling.
Interesting.
Yeah. So it's like, that obviously seems like the ending that the writers wanted people to pick. So then there's the argument of like, oh, why even have the bad ending in there? When my wife played through on her game, she didn't even have that option at the very end. I think just because like her character. She never picked any previous options that she like wanted to control the big bad evil. I don't know exactly know all of the triggers, but yeah, she only had one option, and that was the good ending. Which again, I think that's kind of the one they force you to.
Yeah.
But so I did enjoy the game, 100% recommend. But even if you're evil, the game kind of wants you to be good.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I was talking with my wife about this the other day. That type of game just doesn't tickle my fancy.
No, yeah.
And I love playing D&D. Like
Mhm.
D&D with the bros is like
It's a good time.
one of my favorite things about Saturdays. Every Saturday night
D&D.
we play D&D.
Totally.
But for whatever reason, I don't know. Video games for me are. I like when I can like control the skill involved in them,
Oh, sure.
and I feel like games like that. I mean, obviously, there's like you still need to know how to play the game.
It's yeah.
But it's not only combat based, right? It's not
Mhm.
only skill based. Whereas games like CS or Smite,
It's all
or
combat.
it's all skill based, and I like getting good at things.
It's interesting. Yeah, I guess you didn't really grow up with RPGs,
I didn't play any video games
So-
growing up.
nor and you definitely didn't play like turn-based. Turn-based has never been your fancy either.
Nope.
Which is funny because I grew up playing turn-based RPGs like
Yeah.
Pokemon. You would not enjoy Pokemon.
Nope.
No, yeah.
I've tried.
Yeah.
I downloaded an emulator on my phone once.
And to be fair, compared to other like turn-based RPGs, Pokemon's not even amazing. But
Yeah, and I've dabbled with like a New World,
yeah.
and I enjoyed that game.
The game is a lot of fun.
And Ryan and I have
RPG.
been talking about creating new characters and
Hopping
hopping
back
on
on.
together and
Yeah.
playing for
I'm a
fun.
little like I'm almost like if I wanted to hop on, I would have to buy the DLC so I can get a horse.
Oh, that's
The
true.
$30 horse. There's other content in the expansion, but it's $30 horse.
Did they give any new weapons? Oh, there's the
The
flail.
flail,
yeah.
yes, which I actually haven't looked up to see how good that one is, but I did see a tier list that it was just like it's kind of middle, it's kind of average.
I think if I were to make a new character, I would go a tanky, like strength and con based character with the hatchet because it's
hatchet.
ranged
Yeah, the hatchet is pretty cool.
and it's a strength based ranged weapon.
See, I remember from the tier list, I think they just said that like the musket and the hammer were at the bottom, but everything else was playable.
The musket was at the bottom.
Yeah, they said it's too slow for like
Oh, that's
actual
fair.
gameplay. The bow was actually near the top though.
The bow is fast.
Yeah,
The bow can be really fast.
but they were like the hammer is just bad and silly. You might as well just use the axe. So if you want a big two-hander,
Yeah. That was a fun game.
it had some cool variety too.
We should just hop back on that.
I speaking of Asmongold earlier, he had a funny clip from talking about New World. He's like, I can see why New World didn't get a whole lot of buzz. Like that it doesn't have a huge amount of players. He's like, because it's just like it's a game for boys who liked the American Revolution, or like it's just for like American boys, young men. You're like, yeah, it's pretty accurate.
Pretty accurate.
Yeah, it's like that's kind of the same time period, even though you're in a separate sort of.
It's like conquistador time period, though.
Yeah,
so it's like a little bit earlier.
It's a little bit like late Renaissance. Like you got muskets,
like 1600s ish.
yeah.
Yeah, 1600s is what I was.
But then you wake up on like another continent, another fantasy world where all of the technology is basically still late Renaissance.
Mm-hmm.
But then some of the weapons are cool because you've got just like an ice gauntlet. You're like, magic works here. We don't really know what it is.
Yeah.
The fire staff, or you can have a musket.
Or a healing staff.
The healing staff.
That's what Caleb was doing, remember?
Yeah. So I'm like, yeah, I can see that. But also that's why I like the game. It's pretty fun.
Yeah.
I like the, I believe the word is the anachronism of it's like out of time is kind of what that word describes of like, it's cool. It's cool to be like 1600s with magic. It's like, it's a little weird.
It's very cool.
It's appealing to me.
It's very cool. Speaking of video game stuff still, well, there's two things. Start with this one first.
Yeah.
last episode, we talked about the Mines of Moria video, the Return to Moria video
Return to
game.
Moria, yeah.
We were positive it was coming out at the beginning of next year. It's out.
It's already out.
Like, it's released.
Hadn't seen a single advertisement.
I saw that one advertisement, and it didn't say anything, so I assumed that this was like the start of their ramping up of
the ad campaign.
the game. Looks sick.
It's out. It's cool.
It looks sick. I've been very tempted to get it.
I am. I've seen like both positive and negative reviews, so I am a little tempted to get it as well because I think most of the probably have to do some more digging, but because a lot of the positive reviews I've seen, they've basically all said don't trust the negative reviews, and I was like, oh well. And a lot of the negative reviews are from critics of like, is this just a survival game with the Lord of the Rings slapped on there? Yes, but in my head I'm thinking, is that okay?
Yes.
Yes,
Like,
probably.
survival-based game. Cool. Lord of the Rings. Cool. Cool.
I would like to go digging and fight monsters with my bros, and we're all dwarves. Sure. It's like Minecraft, but Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. I already played Minecraft like a dwarf anyway. I just go digging all the time.
I definitely played Minecraft more like a human. I built castles.
You build grand castles and
I built grand castles and had my high walls and lava flowing off the wall.
imperialism. You had to expand your territory.
I did. I literally, yeah. Do you remember that server we were playing on?
Yeah. That was a blast.
Literally, Caleb and I just started like.
I think the wall kept getting bigger.
Oh, it did because I had like the keep, right?
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, but I have my farm over here, so I need a wall around that. And then
you had to go get some animals.
I had to go get some animals, and I made another bigger wall, and then a bigger wall. I think there was like
that wall just got 10 feet higher.
I think there was probably like 4 walls eventually.
That's kind of funny because that's how like old villages crop up. You just got like, oh, the fence post, and then it's like, oh, we've got like wooden stakes, and now it's stone wall. Like you can see the different tiers.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's Minecraft. Return to Moria still seems okay. A couple of things I did see consistently was that the combat was still a little wonky, but didn't seem like anything they couldn't fix in a bug patch.
But also, if it's supposed to be like a survival game, combat in Minecraft sucks.
Yeah, exactly.
Although to be fair, combat in Valheim, pretty okay.
It was pretty good. It's pretty good. Pretty okay. What was the last Ark? I mean, that has a whole dinosaur aspect to it, so it's like.
You know, I've played Ark twice, and it just does not run on my computer.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
I don't know why.
Have you upgraded your computer at all since then, or no?
I mean, my computer was brand new parts when I played it, and the game is not a new game.
No, the game's pretty poorly optimized, but maybe on the Unreal Engine 5.
Maybe.
I don't know.
All I know is that my computer runs every other game flawlessly.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, there's no game. Like, it's not like a crazy computer, but it's pretty good. Built it with pretty decent parts.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So anyway. Another thing that's coming out soon. This one's kind of cool. Last week we talked about the Fallout Magic the Gathering cards.
Yes.
They're coming out April?
Yes.
Of next year?
Early April, I believe.
Also coming out April, for whatever reason, I think Bethesda's getting ready to launch a new Fallout game.
Probably.
That's my guess.
At least announce one, yeah.
My guess is that they're going to announce it in June of next year.
June. Okay.
Maybe May.
Okay.
I'll put that as my guess because Magic the Gathering's coming out with their Fallout sets, which everyone's pretty hyped about.
Yeah.
Most people,
Yeah, most of what I've seen is positive.
And there's also a project with Amazon Prime.
That's right.
Where they're making a live action Fallout show on Amazon, and it comes out in April.
Wow.
2024.
I just saw that you mentioned that, but actually I hadn't heard about that.
Yeah, so it's supposed to be this live action thing. It's not going to be any of the Fallout storylines. They're not just recreating any of the video game storylines.
Yeah, they're just in the universe.
They're in the universe.
That's a good way to do it.
Yep.
You don't need to ruin any legacy characters.
Yep. And I think it's just a completely different storyline. I think there's obviously elements of it. Like they're gonna have the same bad creatures and things like that, and but I think the characters are all new, and they're just rewriting. They're writing a story in the Fallout universe.
Well, yeah, and they've already not reboot, but they've already like made new stories in the game several times because their universe. They wrote a universe that's good enough and expansive enough to do that. It's just like the premise is you're there 200 years after the bombs dropped, like, and it's like you have to deal with the fallout, of living in a wasteland. Not a whole lot of green left, but there's still enough where people can survive. So,
yeah,
that's it.
It's going to be. I'm actually pretty excited for that TV show. I think Amazon, like we talked about this before as well. Amazon just, I think, is knocking that out of the park with what they're doing with TV shows.
Collabs, yeah,
because they're doing the Warhammer one with Henry Cavill.
Yeah, I'm still kind of anxious for more news on that, but
me too.
That'll be cool. That'll be fun.
Yeah,
Warhammer's also coming out with a lot of cool releases, so maybe that.
Yeah,
like a lot of good collabs. A couple of their games are coming out. Yeah.
I would love. Oh, didn't they just come out with a Space Marine video game?
I don't know if it's already out yet. It's like Space Marine 2 is coming out soon, which looks pretty sick.
That's just a shoot 'em up game, right?
Yeah,
that's just an arcade shooter.
Kill
almost.
aliens, lots and lots of them.
But it's co-op as well, right?
Yeah, I believe at least 2-person co-op.
I might get that game.
They're coming out with one soon. I don't know if it's already out. Warhammer Rogue Trader, where you're just like a. From what I've seen, it's almost like a RPG, but like a social RPG almost. Because you're not like affiliated with any faction in the Warhammer universe, but you just like have your ship. You do quests and trade, and you have to
like a Sea of Thieves type thing.
Yeah. But there's charisma checks basically. You got to interact.
Whatever happened to us playing Sea of Thieves? That was a great game.
That was a fun game. I got a little too stressed out on that one sometimes. But
for sure.
Toned back my playing on that one, but
that's fair. Especially when we had the 3 ships going on together.
Yeah, that's a blast. That should just be like normal. We shouldn't have to cheese that, but we did
successfully many times
to get multiple ships on the same server when they don't let you do that. Actually,
yeah, because there's only 15 ships allowed on a server.
I think.
Like yeah. We would get 3 of them on there. Three sloops.
Mm-hmm.
No,
3 brigs, the
mid-size ships,
because those are the best ones.
And put 3 people on them. We'd have 9 friends playing at the same time.
You do whatever you want. Like nobody can stop you.
I mean, literally. That was a blast.
Yeah, that game was pretty fun.
Well, and do you remember that one time when there was we had 3 ships, and then another group we teamed up with another group that had 2 ships.
Had 2, yeah.
And so it's like 5 of us just roaming around with Reaver flags, and we
own that server.
Oh, for sure, it was sick.
That was fun.
Anyway, that was very sick.
Fun multiplayer games. Maybe we ought to rank them sometimes. We'll do a top 5 multiplayer.
Yeah.
We'll bring a guest on. We can talk about multiplayer games. Best multiplayer games they've played.
There you go. And speaking of Fallout, so the TV show, I'm actually pretty excited for that. Like I said, but there's an even more live action Fallout series coming soon to Earth. And this is more current event type stuff, I suppose.
I'm interested to see. Oh, I was like, where's it going with this segue?
I just pull out a red button and slap it in nuclear holocaust.
All right, no more video games. It's real life.
And I kind of wanted to get your take on this to see what's going on.
Sure.
So, as everyone knows, Russia's in a war with Ukraine right now.
The
U.S. is in a proxy war with Russia in Ukraine right now.
Yep.
And Russia just passed in their parliament they're
a democracy.
Yeah.
They passed a law. They have a parliament.
Yeah, well, this law is not a great law. It they passed a bill that revokes the approval of the Non-Nuclear Proliferation and Testing Act or treaty that the U.S. and Russia signed.
Oh.
So the U.S. and Russia banned nuclear testing.
Nuclear testing, yeah. I remember that. Well, I wasn't there, but I remember reading about it.
You were there just saying, wow, this is cool.
I took the picture when they signed the treaty, yeah.
And, so they signed this treaty or whatever you want to call it, accord, peace accord, whatever.
No more testing.
It said no more testing because nuclear bombs, not the greatest thing for humanity.
No.
And
Hey,
Russia,
you're only in trouble if you get caught.
pretty easy to catch.
Pretty easy to get. Is that a mushroom cloud over there, Russia?
Huh? 77 ICBM missiles just launched from Russia. What is their? Oh, their trajectory looks awfully similar. Oh, it looks like that's going to strike California.
This couldn't be a test, could it?
No, certainly not.
No.
Yeah, but they just revoked that, and
They superseded it. Really? Right?
well, they just withdrew from the treaty.
Oh, okay. The law withdrew from the treaty.
Yeah.
Basically. Yeah.
Mhm.
That is weird. I hadn't heard that. I thought that would be bigger news than.
Yeah, well, the U.S. kind of said, well, if that's the case, F you. And the day that they signed that little treaty, they did nuclear tests in Nevada.
Huh.
Underground.
Interesting, yeah.
The U.S. just lit up some nukes.
Yeah, like, they were ready. Like,
Oh, yeah.
For it.
The U.S. was just like, oh, you guys are signing a treaty to ban or to allow nuclear tests again? Okay. Boom.
Okay.
Just underground. Just like one of the underground tests.
Yeah, yeah.
It's hilarious.
Had to call up Nevada. Hey, you guys ready? Yeah, sure. We've been ready.
And apparently the U.S. claimed it was a...
Oh, my goodness.
It's hilarious how they tried to spin this. Everyone knows what this was for,
It's a
right?
nuclear test, yeah.
It's a nuclear test to say, like, hey, Russia, calm down.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason was we were testing seismic wave detectors, and we needed something to make seismic waves. And
Yeah.
the best thing we could think of was a nuclear bomb.
But that was just a
It was just a test. There's no.
It was the seismic wave.
We didn't do it the same exact day that they decided to sign this treaty or anything, or this bill or whatever. No.
And the results were very positive. This will really improve our seismic wave testing.
Exactly.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yep,
Great
but
day for science.
Completely serendipitous that it was on the same day as
Yeah.
the Russians.
Yeah, but
revocation.
that's just when the timeline came up. I don't control these things.
Of course. So yeah, World War III coming to a year near you.
This is just going to be the title of all of our episodes moving forward. Like, coming soon.
World War III coming soon to a theater for near you.
Yeah, right. Oh man.
And then another little war tidbit.
Mm-hmm.
This time on the Eastern Front.
The Eastern Front. The Middle Eastern Front.
The Middle Eastern Front. Is
Israel?
Israel west? Israel's like right below Ukraine.
Yeah, I would say west still technically. I mean, if we're going off of,
I don't think it's west of Ukraine though. I think it's east of Ukraine still.
No, surely not. Didn't last week we were talking about passing high school geography or something like that?
Yeah, but no one.
Hold up, producer. We got to pull.
No one ever cared about the Ukraine, or I guess everyone cared about Israel.
Somewhat, but only when they're relevant in the news. World map.
I just pulled up Google.
Ukraine.
They are right on top of each other.
Really?
Yep, look at that. Ukraine.
Huh.
They're like,
Yeah.
Israel
okay.
is like in the middle of Ukraine.
Very interesting. What is Ukraine doing that far west? Jeez. they're not even part of Russia.
That far east.
Yeah.
I thought they were further west.
No, I definitely thought they were further east.
Oh, really?
In my head, yeah. Or maybe I just didn't think the Middle East was that far east.
Yeah, you would expect it to be in the middle, not in the east.
Yeah, it's pretty east. It's like Middle Easter, it's a little Easter more than middle.
That's hilarious.
Ukraine might as well be the Middle East. Jeez.
I think it's still technically all Europe, though,
Yeah.
because the Urals are right there.
Where? Yeah, Eurasia.
No, the Caucasus. The Caucasus Mountains or the Ural Mountains? The Uranus Mountains?
I'm not gonna say it.
Do it!
The Caucasus and Uranus. We're children.
Yes.
Yes.
100%.
That was funny. What were we talking about? World War III? Series?
Oh, Israel.
Israel, yeah.
So everyone knows that, well, maybe not everyone.
So headlines I've seen, probably not everyone, but
Hamas has been shooting rockets into Israel for like decades now.
yeah, right.
and they've always been using other rockets to shoot down the rockets, or using AWAC systems. Or not AWAC. What's the phalanx gun? What is it called?
I can tell you.
AWAC is a type of plane. Anyway, they've been using rockets, the Iron Dome, right?
The Iron Dome.
Everyone learns about the Iron Dome.
Israel's Iron Dome.
Yeah, and it's usually just been rockets that shoot down the rockets.
Yeah.
Right? Inert rockets that shoot down the explosive
Basically
rockets.
just like flares, more or less. They're just
yeah, kind of.
they give something for the rockets to hit.
Well, they actually go out and hit the rocket.
Yeah.
Anyway, Israel just developed a new weapon. Not a weapon, a defense system. It's a massive laser gun. And they just laser rockets out of the sky now.
Really cool.
It's sick. I've been watching videos of it online, and it's just like you see a rocket like get lasered and it just blows up. It looks like a Death Star beam.
I don't care who you are. If there's like some Hamas guy just like chilling in his trenches watching on his phone of just seeing like lasers, he's like, all right, that's pretty cool. Like,
oh yeah, it's so cool.
They're shooting our missiles down, but like that's literally Star Wars. Like that's
it's sick.
Shooting lasers to blow up rockets.
Sick. It's super cool, and it's even cooler because most of these videos are at night.
Oh yeah,
and so it's just this like laser beam. Like you see this rocket, and then all of a sudden you see,
yeah. I mean, it's
just a straight line,
instant. You don't have to fire a projectile up at it anymore. Nope. It's probably 10 times safer. Their missiles before were pretty safe, but
I mean, you still have rocket pieces falling on.
Still rocket,
heads.
but now you don't have 2 rocket pieces.
Correct.
So it's 50% safer.
Correct.
That's statistics.
Yeah.
Lasers don't have
material to fall. Yeah.
Fall out.
But it's a pretty cool little system that they got going on there.
That's impressive.
And I don't know. I've been trying to figure out if it's just like they're testing this out now.
Yeah.
Or if this is like something where they're like, oh, like we've like fielded 75 of these now or something.
Right.
Like that.
Right.
I've only seen pictures of one, but maybe there's more.
I've always been of the opinion that's semi-historically backed. That like times of war is good for technological innovation and the economy and whatever, military mobilization. So maybe like this is something maybe they had in their back pocket for a while, but they couldn't test until now. It's like wartime's kind of ramping it up, and they've tested it. It's successful. They're probably making more right now, like getting the factories rolling. Probably. So
would hope so.
Because it looks cool and it works. It looks
very
effective.
well.
And if this is if that's the impetus for the like getting the cool sci-fi like handheld laser guns, I'm all for it.
I'm not sure that we'll ever be able to beat bullets.
Probably not, but
I mean, in sci-fi they always call them kinetic energy weapons, right?
Yeah.
Instead of laser weapons or plasma weapons or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
But kinetic energy weapons. I mean, like you can shoot as many lasers as you want, but a 12 gauge slug to the chest is going to do way more damage than anything else.
I think I mentioned this before, but one of my favorite like realistic sci-fi video games was Mass Effect, and their guns all used the universal like ammo. Was just some fancy sci-fi metal that they found, but basically every gun worked by just like shaving off pieces of the metal, and it was the type of gun was like how much or the shape of like the pieces it shaved off, basically. So that's how you still got shotguns versus submachine guns, whatever.
Yeah.
And then it was all universal reload. But again,
you
it was
just throw
like,
a chunk of, like an ingot into it?
just an ingot, and then just again the sci-fi that you superheat star nova in your guns or whatever, so that shaves off the metal and then propels it out using that's like a railgun using magnets.
Yeah.
And so that seemed cool. That seemed at least like sci-fi, but it's still hot lead.
Yeah,
because it's pretty effective.
Yeah, that's one of the things that's interesting is I try to stay up on military technology, and the U.S. for years now, probably close to a decade, probably more than a decade, has been testing this railgun.
Yeah,
for their Navy ships.
I've seen
big thing, right? But the problem with it is that it shoots the projectiles so quickly out of its barrel that it turns the end of the barrel into plasma. It plasmifies the steel.
Yeah. We don't have, or at least they haven't tested a material that can withstand that velocity.
Nope. But it's such a cool freaking gun.
And they're also huge, but that's
That's why they're on battleships.
that's why they're on battleships. That's
or
a
on
side
literal
problem.
combat ships, whatever.
That's not the main problem.
No, but they're so cool. It's so cool that we actually we built a functional railgun,
It works.
and
It's just not super practical yet.
not practical. But man, if it ever got practical, dude,
It'd be dangerous.
it launches these projectiles.
It's like an ICBM, just like on every ship.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. But I'm interested to see, because I think when the only point that we'll be able to have handheld railguns
Yeah,
is whenever they find a room temperature superconductor.
sure.
Just because I think that's the only time that we'll be able to.
To just get enough power,
Yeah,
small enough.
exactly.
It's a funny thing about Fallout. I think I also mentioned last week with the Magic cards. They never developed microchips in their alternate history, so it's like they're constantly living in the 50s. So even though they have like plasma guns, I'm like, how have you guys done this without microchips? Like,
Yeah,
how did you never got semiconductors? But then they build robots. So all the technology in the game looks clunky.
because it is.
It is. It's all so
It's
clunky.
like a tube TV.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, all of the computer screens are like the old friggin' LCD, the giant dinosaur monitors, because that's all you get. It's just friggin' like tubes and bulbs in there. No semiconductors. It's like, that is goofy, but also kind of funny, because if we just had tube TVs everywhere still.
Yeah. Can you imagine having having to have like an entertainment system that was 4 feet deep?
Oh, man, yeah. I don't know how houses got built with that in mind.
I don't know.
We've just adopted so well to
Paper thin TVs.
paper thin, just wall mount.
I mean, you can buy a TV that's 6 inches thick for 52 inches in diagonal diameter distance, whatever.
Yeah, it's the diagonal. Yeah,
For $350.
it's not that bad. That's consumer available.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
It's crazy. TVs have gotten so cheap.
Or the one my dad always says is we went to the moon with less technology than what's in your pocket.
Yeah, I watched a video about that, and the computer chips that they had in there were hand soldered iron rings
Man,
that flipped. The iron rings would flip one direction or another
really?
for the binary code.
Wow.
And so you could program the computer by going,
1 and 0. That's it. You get 2.
not that one, yes, that one, yes, that one, no, that just flipping these iron rings across
Jeez.
or copper. Sorry, they're copper.
Copper. Okay, that's a little bit more conductive. That makes sense.
Yeah, it was crazy to me though.
Mm-hmm.
That was on a Smarter Everyday video a couple of years ago.
Oh, neat.
It was insane to look at.
Technology is pretty cool, and so we're seeing some of the cool military-esque stuff, but a lot of that ends up trickling its way down to consumer use. Give it a couple decades.
The new U.S. Army scope or optic system that they've developed, it's fully developed already by Vortex, who's a very, very highly regarded
optics manufacturer
company.
Yeah.
It's just cheat codes. It's aimbot.
It's aimbot. Yeah.
It's aimbot, man. It's craziness.
It's
wall hack
heat signature. I forget.
No, it's so what it does. So there's a variety of different modules that you can attach to it.
Okay.
The main module is there's a scope, right? It's a scope, but it has a clear display in it as well.
Yeah.
That will display the range of targets and of what the gun is looking at if that the certain modules on top of it.
Okay.
But that module is a targeting module, and so what you can do, and it can save targets.
That's right.
So you can go and you're saying oh, that target is out there.
Yeah.
You've zeroed the rifle at 100 yards, right, or 100 meters, whatever you want, right?
Mm-hmm.
You say, oh, that target right there. It range finds it and then projects a red dot on where you should aim to hit that target.
Point and shoot. Yeah. That's
and so
cool.
you are, and it calculates for wind and everything. And so you just say, oh, that target right there. You go click, and it goes, and you go, oh, cool. boom, and boom, hit.
Dude.
And
That's OP.
what's even cooler is that everyone in a squad's weapons are interconnected.
Yes, yeah.
So you can mark a target over there,
And your buddy
can see your targets.
Mm-hmm.
And so a squad commander or whoever, right, can say like, "Oh, enemy on that roof," dink, and everyone just goes, "Oh, right there."
Yeah, you can
and then you have 7 guys shooting their extremely accurate rifles in a 6mm cartridge.
Yeah, that's right.
6.5mm.
The new one.
I think it's 6.5.
Yeah, pretty sure.
Maybe is it 6 or 6.5?
I thought it was.
I think it's
6.5.
6.
Oh,
because it's 277 Valkyrie is what
is the name
cartridge is called, but it 6. I think it's 6mm. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Anyway,
A relatively chunky bullet with a relatively low ballistic. It's like a really good bullet, just like right on top of your face.
that's gonna be cool. What do you think? Some consumer applications of this new technology? Give it 5-10 years. I mean, hunting is going to be
this
easy.
technology's been out for a while.
Yeah.
So there was a company called Tracking Point, which developed this technology in the early 2010s.
Okay, it's been a decade.
So around maybe a little bit earlier than that. Around 2010, they come out with this thing. It was a big chunky rifle though.
Yeah.
And it actually had a system where it did something very similar, where you could target something and it could even track moving targets.
Okay.
You would click, I want to shoot this thing, and then it wouldn't allow you to fire. There was 2 different modes. One was, okay, this is where you need to aim.
Yeah.
The other mode was, okay, this is where you need to aim, but I'm not the gun. You would pull the trigger, but the gun wouldn't fire until the crosshair was over that target that it had designated.
Okay, yeah. It's like a safety feature almost.
Yeah,
But also easy. It's like a easy mode.
yeah. And
They won't
they've
let
been
you
out for a
use-
while. It used to be that gun itself. It was just based off an AR platform,
I'm sure, yeah. Simple.
cheap AR platform, but it was, $20,000 per gun.
Well, yeah. I mean, all the research that they put into it as
Yeah.
well.
And that company, I believe, went defunct
Gotcha.
because they just couldn't sell enough.
Yeah.
It's very cool technology,
Mm-hmm.
and I think maybe
They almost should have just sold the technology from the start instead of trying to put it on their own gun platform and sell it.
well,
as you're saying,
I think the problem. You are correct.
Should have
Looking
just
back,
sold it to the government.
but I think the problem is that it was too revolutionary for the time.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I don't think it was a feasible.
The Navy SEALs didn't need that.
No, and
were too good.
honestly, it was so chunky, and if you were a skilled shooter, you didn't need it.
Need it. Yeah.
And the thing that the military were doing was good enough.
Mhm.
So. But
That's
now
fair.
with this new rifle, it's a very small, light module.
Yes, and it works with your team.
Yeah.
So-
So now it's really cool. So Vortex has come out and said, like, as soon as we are able to fulfill this government contract, everything else is going like,
Any extras head into stores
well, they're
near
going to
you.
keep producing it
Yeah,
and just sell it to civilians.
totally.
So
That's literally that's where that's going. Is just
Yeah.
the same exact thing to
Yeah.
consumers.
yeah, it's
pretty cool.
It's going to be very cool. I'm excited.
It's like, are shooting ranges going to go out of business? Nobody will practice shooting anymore.
And you're not. I think there's 2 things. One, I think that you're not going to put this on every single gun you own.
No,
Although maybe you do.
Because is it like night vision? Right, it can work in the dark too, can it?
That's a good question.
Yeah, sure. Maybe that's just a different add-on, different module.
I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. I should look that up.
Because then otherwise, home defense, like,
Well, it does have to go on a scope, though.
okay, has
So,
to be on a scope.
Home defense is a little bit. You usually don't have a powered scope.
Scope on my revolver, and then
Please don't ever put a scope on a revolver. I've seen people put scopes on revolvers, and every time I'm just like,
hilarious.
what is the freaking point of that?
I've never told
You
you
have
about that, but
Like a big revolver has like an 8-inch barrel.
slap a 6-inch scope on there. And then you got to put a rifle stock on it.
Oh my god. And then they're all in these calibers that are like random.
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, my 44 long Colt is gonna go. My 44 Magnum is gonna go 1,000 yards with a 10x scope on top. Yeah,
Yeah,
for
yeah.
sure, bud.
This is necessary. I need this.
For sure. even though that thing drops like a freaking rock as soon as it exits the bullet.
But at least not every rifle, but
Every
a lot-
fighting rifle,
yeah, every for sure
I think people. I mean,
fits on an AR platform well. So.
AR platform, probably throw it on an AK platform, probably
Yeah.
throw it on all of the variants of other
That'll be cool.
platforms.
That'll be fun.
Yeah.
And hunting will be like a breeze.
Actually, some states have banned electronic systems when you
Really?
hunt. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm kind of
So
intrigued.
that tracking point rifle
Yeah.
was banned by a few states to hunt.
Wouldn't that be more humane if you can just guarantee kill an animal in one hit? Like, that's what every hunter tries to do anyway. But
I can't answer that question. Because,
okay.
Because there are also states who have banned tapered cartridges with hunting.
Oh,
So 308 can't hunt with it.
that is weird.
30-06 can't hunt with it. It has to be a straight walled cartridge. 4570.
Wow. That
3030.
feel
No,
like that-
3030 is tapered too.
I was about to say, I feel like that limits a lot of your traditional hunting
50
rifles.
Beowulf you can use. You can use
You want to go hunting with a 50?
there's a new one called 350
What are you hunting? Buffalo?
350 Legend. I don't pay attention to the hunting cartridges as much,
Yeah.
but they have these rules that are strange. I don't understand them. Maybe there's a reason, but I can't.
Yeah.
But yeah, some states ban tapered cartridges.
Wow.
So no 30. It has to be a straight walled cartridge to hunt,
The more you know.
which is strange, but
A 22.
technically a straight walled cartridge.
Technically. You're not hunting much with that, though.
Squirrels.
Squirrels.
Yeah, I don't know, but anyway, there's my Steven's technology corner. for the week.
Technology and guns. We talked about guns.
Yep. We got to talk about food. We need to do like something with food at one of these episodes.
Probably, yeah.
That's part of the 5Gs, but we rarely talk about it,
We like food.
as is evident.
That is, and I'm on a diet. That's food related.
I'm on a diet too. It's called the seafood diet. I see food and I eat it.
Food. I'm coming off of my diet soon, I think.
Not renewing for November, huh?
No, I'm at a comfortable weight now. I think I can maybe transition to another diet or just the watch it diet as opposed to the seafood diet. Just hey, watch what you're eating. Where I'm giving myself a buffer. I could get up 20 pounds and still be okay. I think I'd like to stay where I'm at.
What are you at right now? If you don't mind me asking?
250.
Pretty good.
I lost 100 pounds in under 5 months. It's pretty good.
That's pretty crazy.
It worked. It worked for me. So I'm thinking of coming off and maybe just watching it. But I'm kind of looking at a couple other things. Keto is a pretty similar diet to what I'm doing anyway, where it's just kind of you watch your carb intake. So I found last week keto bread. I didn't think that existed. Dude, it's actually pretty good.
Really?
I'll give you a slice after this if you want. Like compared to
like white bread?
Yeah, the bread aisle there at the store. Keto bread is 35 calories a slice. Normal bread is like 100 calories a slice at least. Because I think it's just like American. They throw all the sugar and crap and chemicals in bread.
Yeah, but if you find like a really good bakery, like there's a bakery in downtown Mesa called Proof Bakery.
Real bread.
Oh man, it's so much better than anything in the bread aisle.
Much better. So just at the bread aisle, it's like a brand I kind of recognize too. I think that makes normal bread, but keto bread, 35 calories a slice. It's and again, this is for the keto diet. It's 10 grams of carbs, but it's all fibers, which is like negative carbs, basically. It's you can always subtract fiber from the total carbs, and they give you your net carbs because those are healthy carbs, I guess, as opposed to sugar.
That's fair, I suppose.
Sugar is just sugar carbs. It's bad for the most part. The added sugar is the bad part. Natural sugar is fine, but it's not bad. It's like I could live off this. Well, how come every bread isn't this? Bread should just be a good source of fiber anyway. That makes sense. And it doesn't need to be 100 calories. It's like, all right, I can do this. I can live on this diet. But
is there a bunch of weird chemicals in it though to make it that?
Not really. I don't think so. I can double check the ingredients.
We'll have to look.
Yeah.
But yeah, interesting.
So that's food.
Ryan is and I are both very much into the like eating real food type of thing with
Oh,
like
totally.
no chemicals in it, and
Yeah,
we
I can respect that.
yeah, but we don't like to eat the carbs either, just because they just make you feel like crap
Yeah, totally.
and make you gain weight crazy fast.
It's not worth it.
Nope.
I mean, it might taste good in the moment, but then carbs,
It definitely tastes good in the moment,
But then
because
carbs
like
just make you feel like crap
I can
afterwards.
pound a pizza.
Tortillas, Taco Bell, Mexican food.
Oh.
It's all carbs. It's all delicious.
So when
But-
you get off this diet, is there anything you're like going straight to just to have a little bit of it? Like a nice little like cup of ice cream or something.
I'm
From,
definitely thinking of like pizza. I do like pizza.
We'll have to go to Brooklyn V's again.
Yeah, you're right. I should probably reserve that. It's like make that my first pizza.
Or like just like order it like takeout or something
Mhm.
and go get it.
because even like it's kind of weird. Not that I like cared when I was not on the diet, but there's just something about like when you drive past a fast food thing, you're like, oh, I can stop and eat there, but I can't now
Mhm.
because I've got the willpower. I'm on my diet, but I'm thinking more. It's like it's waning a little bit of like, ooh, I can't wait till I can just go to Little Caesars, and it's like, what? No normal person is excited about Little Caesars $5 pizzas, but I'm like, ooh, yeah, that cheesy bread, like. Why? It's not even that good.
It's really not. I mean, it's fine. Like it tastes good, but you're
But I
like,
haven't had it for 5 months. Whereas if I wasn't on the diet, would I notice if I'd gone 5 months without Little Caesars pizza? Probably not.
I think it's been 5 months since I've had a little pizza.
exactly. And so
Maybe that's not true, but I can't remember the last time I had a Little Caesars
it's
pizza.
a weird thing in your brain of like restricting yourself on foods because then you're like, ooh, those donuts. You're like, what? No, I don't even like donuts.
Yeah,
Oh, but
I do like donuts.
I do like donuts. Oh, if only I could order this burger on the menu. It's like, but on my diet, I can have this steak, and steak's pretty good. I'm okay with steak.
Steak's pretty dang good.
So I'm not missing out on anything.
Yeah,
Grilled chicken breast. I like grilled chicken breast at a restaurant. It's pretty tasty.
yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
I don't think I ever order. I don't know if I ever ordered chicken at a restaurant. That's a lie. I've definitely ordered chicken at a restaurant.
Went to one just last week, and I was like, yeah, give me the grilled chicken breast with the side of broccoli, and can you swap the mashed potatoes for more broccoli? She thought I was joking. I was like, no, I want broccoli.
It's reasonable.
Yeah, and then the plate came, and I was like, is this really 2 orders of broccoli? That doesn't look like much. I said I wanted broccoli.
What did she say?
She was just kind of like, she was like dumbfounded a little bit. And we were just like, whatever, I'll just eat more greens when I get home. It's fine. It's like, how much is another side of broccoli? She's like, I think it's like $5. I'm like, $5 for half of this would be like 2 things of broccoli. Like, no, come on. Two little trees. Yeah, it was weird. It's like, I wasn't joking. I like broccoli.
You know what's a travesty is, and we can end on this, I suppose.
Oh, yes. Hit me with it.
Is at Texas Roadhouse they have their like cup of corn,
Yeah.
which first of all, corn is like the worst veggie for you.
Yeah.
It's so
I
bad.
can't have it on my diet. It's like more carbs than you should have in a vegetable.
It's not even like really a vegetable.
Barely a vegetable.
But and then they just throw
Potatoes and corn. Potatoes, I think, scientifically are not vegetables, but
their roots technically.
some people claim they're vegetables. I think those guys kind of compete for like who's the worst vegetable.
Yeah, I believe corn is actually technically not a vegetable either. I believe it's
Really?
a grain.
That's interesting.
It's a grain.
Okay, in that case, in terms of real vegetables, it's probably carrots are next up there because carrots are also pretty high carb.
But also, carrots are the best veggie ever.
I do like carrots.
Raw carrots, fantastic.
I'm not
Cooked carrots, fantastic.
I love cooked carrots. I like carrots as like an accoutrement to just eating a straight raw carrot. But on anything else, yeah, I love throw some carrots in there. Absolutely.
Dude, I can. My favorite road trip snack is a bag of baby carrots.
Not the point we wanted to end on, but very interesting nonetheless.
Yeah, I love baby carrots.
I do like the baby carrots actually with the little Costco's got the little hummus. Single
Oh, yeah,
serves.
yeah.
Those are actually I do enjoy that.
Hummus, low key, really good.
Hummus is solid.
Like, and it's also like pretty healthy for
It's
you.
pretty healthy, and it's all healthy fats. Like it's from the
Well, and there's
the
a ton of protein
chickpeas.
because it's peas.
Yeah,
Peas all have protein,
protein in them. Yeah,
which is random.
you don't question it.
Peas and lentils is like the perfect combination. It's like a perfect protein.
Yeah,
Peas and lentils.
and you get a little bit of again healthy fat, which is better than all the
junk
saturated, whatever. I don't know all the science behind that, but yeah, no, it's hummus is pretty good.
Anyway, there's our food for the episode. Thanks for watching this
Food.
episode of Your Mom.
The 5G podcast.
Thanks for watching this week's episode of the 5G podcast. We hope you enjoyed.
As always, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed this content.
We're available on all social medias, as well as you can watch or listen to us on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts.
Again, thanks for watching, and we hope to see you next week.
Thanks.